It's rolling.
It's morning again in America. Today, more men and women will go.
Jumping in and off the bed. Theater side, theater in America. Theater side, theater in America. Theater side, theater in America.
Holy fucking shit. This movie is the tits, obviously. Let's get that out up front. But holy shit, I'm watching the first minute for this first episode. Ostensibly, this is a Movies by Minutes exploration of dinner in America. Maybe I'll have some guests. Probably I'll just go on political rants. At least the several first episodes I'm going to be recording in an office at work by myself. So there won't be any guests. It won't be that complicated. But the holy shit moment is that a minute into the movie, that I'm watching it on Hulu, the movie hasn't started. It's just logos. And I get it. Movies cost money. If you don't get a bunch of production companies and different producers involved and they all want their own little logo because they're all a bunch of pretentious bastards, and I understand that pretense. But if you don't get all those things on there, the movie's not getting made, the movie's not getting distributed. I didn't recognize any of the names of the companies at the beginning of this. And that's okay. That means it's a tiny little movie and not a big studio picture, you know, like some Disney thing or Marvel thing. Well, that's also Disney. Or Paramount or whatever the big ones are now. Until recent years, ones I often loved were A24 and Neon. Neon's still pretty good. A24 is trying a little bit to go mainstream, and so there's got a little... Ugh. This is the kind of movie, though, that would have been on a little thing, and it's good that you don't recognize any of the names of the logos at the beginning of this movie, because that's what this is. It's punk. It's weird. It's strange. The beginning of this movie, if you haven't watched it yet, and somehow you're listening to this anyway, hi, welcome. How you doing? If your name is Emily Skeggs or Kyle Gallner or anyone else involved in this movie, please find me on social media and come on the show. Love to talk about it. But anyone else, if you happen to be listening to this and you haven't seen the movie, it's gonna make you uncomfortable, especially at the beginning. You'll be like, what the fuck am I watching? Why did Robert say this was the tits? And what does he mean by that? And since when does he use that word? I don't use that word, actually. But in regards to this movie, I have to. That is what the movie is. The movie is amazing in a way that is dirty and disgusting, and I don't mean in like a trauma-releasing... I never cared for many trauma movies. Toxic Avenger, I know there's a new Toxic Avenger out in theaters or something right now, which is weird, in 2025. But that kind of, like, we're just going to be sleazy and disgusting on purpose isn't necessarily always good. Here, it is serving a fucking purpose, and just stick with it. You will love it. It goes from being a kind of uncomfortable, like, Napoleon Dynamite level of, these people are all weirdos, and I don't know if I want to spend time with them, to fucking wholesome in the end, even though it is still, in the end, about a punk rock singer who kinda hates everybody and is deliberately off-putting and deliberately offensive with everything he does. And they don't ever specify what's wrong with Emily's character, but she is autistic coded and is on a lot of medications for her problems, wherever they are. And some people don't want to spend time with autistic people and people that don't follow social behaviors like they're supposed to, you know? Put that in air quotes, supposed to. Like society tells you to, because it's fucking stupid. I'm one of those, by the way. I'm autistic, I have ADHD. I am also a college professor currently in the office. I have a class in about an hour and a half, and I had some time, and it wasn't quite enough time to go home. So I'm just going to hang out in the office, record some of this, and then maybe watch something. I don't know. I watch a lot of movies. Things you need to know about me, since there's nothing to talk about in the first minute of the movie. If you haven't listened to any of my previous Movies by Minute shows, I've done quite a few. I started with covering the original 1978 Halloween in Michael Myers Minute. That was in 2018. I kept intending over the years since to go back to Michael Myers Minute and do Halloween 2, 2 minutes at a time, and then skip Halloween 3, because fuck that movie. Or maybe I'd do a one-shot single episode talking about that movie. Halloween 4, 4 minutes at a time, Halloween 5, 5 minutes time, and so on. H2O, I do 20 minutes at a time, because I'm not the biggest fan of that movie, but it's okay. And then maybe just a one-off for Resurrection, because that has problems, except it's kind of fun, so I don't know, I figured out what I was on when I got to it. But I never got to it, because I did other movies. I did Dave Made a Maze on Dave Made a Minute. I did, what have I done? Annihilation, Arrival, Pump Up the Volume. That was a great one. My wife and I did that together, and it was very political. And kind of like this, is going to be a lot of the raw audio, barely cleaned up, coming out. I hope this episode comes out soon. If I like it when I listen to it, and I get the chance to listen to it in the next couple of days, then it's going to come out soon, because I'm going to talk about current fucking events. Like the fact that over the past weekend, we all thought Donald Trump was fucking dead and we were celebrating. That was my Twitter feed with people like, yeah, the dude's dead. And what are they doing? They're hiding the body. They're throwing things out of windows. They're just closing roads to Walter Reed. And, people saw Melania there, we swear. And J.D. Vance has probably killed him. Or maybe Putin drugged him or poisoned him or whatever they did to that fucking guy in the Ukraine or wherever years ago. Novotny? Was that his name? There was a documentary about it. Kind of sad. You know how fucked up that is? Where the leader of your country is someone where you're all like, happy he's dead at the idea he's dead. He's not dead. He might be soon. He's an old man and he's definitely got health problems, definitely gets some sort of monthly injection in his hand that does something, and he looked like crap in the couple shots that we did see from this weekend that weren't obviously from the wrong day, with a bunch of the golf photos were clearly from the wrong day apparently, or that's how it was reporting. And I just have my Twitter feed to go on and how accurate a lot of this stuff is, but that's sort of the point, is what is the world we experience? Is the world we experience based on the interactions we have with it? Our characters in this movie are not neurotypical. They're not mainstream, regular people that go along to get along, or get along to go along, however that phrase is. Who fucking cares about that phrase? Fuck the people who want you to just be normal and fit in and do what everyone else does. Do you need to get a day job and make money in order to survive? Yes, because that's the way the society has been built up against you. Is it going to probably be a job you hate? Yes. Even when you also love it sometimes. Every job is a job, and it takes up too much time, and it takes too much of your brain power and when you're not even there. And I'm an adjunct professor, which means I don't teach that many classes in a semester, but I do drive around from various schools. I'm teaching for 3 different colleges this semester. And so I have to go around, get around, but you know what I spend most of my time doing is I go home and I'm going to watch some TV, I'm going to watch some movies. I set a record for most movies I've watched in a year last year, and I'm already on track to break it by quite a lot this year. Because, that's fucking life, man. For me, is I want all these things that are outside of this hellhole that we live in. Even when I was younger, when it didn't seem like such a hellhole because I didn't know enough about how it was run. Did I have problems with politics when I was younger? Yeah, I didn't like things that were going on. I didn't like a lot of things Reagan said, but I didn't understand a lot of things Reagan said because I was a kid. Did I like Desert Storm? Unfortunately, kind of. Desert Shield and then Desert Storm, or First Iraq War as we call it these days, was the thing we cheered for, and I was still pretty young and I was buying into it, and I grew up in basically a cult, the Worldwide Church of God, which is a fairly large international church at the time, but run like a cult. If people broke certain rules, they were disfellowshipped, which is kind of like excommunicated for the Catholics, or anyone who remembers that from history class, where you're not allowed to interact with that particular person anymore, you're not supposed to. And had I kept in that church longer, I probably would have been disfellowshipped as an adult, but I never got baptized into it, other than the original baptism as a baby, because that was automatic, and my parents just did that because they had 6 daughters before me, and then me, and it was just what you did. You did the blessing of little children, where they do a similar thing in Catholic stuff, right? I forget what they call it, but you bring your baby in, and you do the little holy water on their head. Bullshit. I don't think we really had holy water as such, but I think they anointed you with some drop of oil or some shit. Some biblical thing. I know way too much about the Bible, even though I'm an atheist now. I love movies, even though in my day job I don't have anything to do with movies. I did interview for a job teaching a class about movies a few years ago, but I didn't get it. I wish I'd gotten it. I wish when I went into grad school I hadn't done communication studies on the comm side. Cal State Los Angeles has it split between the comm side, communication, and the film side, and I should have gone to the film side. Film and TV major would have been so good for me, because making movies is something I still wish I could do. It's the dream I've had since I was young, and it is still there decades later, because movies are beautiful things, even when they make you uncomfortable, even when they make you sad, even when they make you angry. Because they give us commentary on the world we're in, and this movie is going to give us commentary on the different kinds of parents we get in our lives, the different kind of adults who try to tell you what to do, and when that's good and when that's bad. Like when Emily's character gets fired and her boss tells her it's because he doesn't have the budget for it, and then she finds out later that no, he has someone else who took her job immediately because it wasn't about the money, it was about her, and she made him uncomfortable, and he didn't like her because she probably didn't follow exactly what he told her to do in the right way, because she probably questioned every little detail. She's the kind of person who when she was younger would always ask why. And so is Kyle's character. Why am I hitting a blank on their character names? Oh, man. Minute one of the movie, they're not in here, so who knows? Who remembers? We're in September now as I'm recording this, so it's been almost 2 months since I watched the movie the last time all the way through. When I completed my previous podcast, Groundhog Day Project, which, if this episode comes out soon, I'm recording it on September 3rd. If it comes out soon after that, Groundhog Day Project is still coming out. That was me covering Groundhog Day. And for season 3, which is probably the end of that show, it is 101 episodes recorded in 4 weeks. It was me with no prep, kind of like how I'm going to do this show, but on a movie that I've watched many, many more times. I have only watched Dinner in America 3 times. And I haven't even cut it into 1-minute chunks yet as I'm recording this. I had the chance to do a sort of pilot episode. I'm like, maybe I don't need a pilot. Maybe minute 1 has nothing happening. And sure enough, minute 1 had nothing but fucking logos. I think there was some music, but I don't even remember the score to this movie. There's some fun music in this movie. There's fantastic music later. I love this movie. I watched it the first time a year and a half ago after Red Letter Media mentioned it. And did they do an episode just about this movie? I think. Like a review or something about this. I mean, it's not that old a movie, so weird for a review, but I think they just wanted to do an episode about something interesting. And I was intrigued, and I was intrigued by the way they described it. And I hope you're intrigued by the way I'm describing it. It is a movie that will make you uncomfortable, will give you characters who are assholes, characters who are sweet. Patty is amazing. And Simon, there's going to be a minute in this movie, even just talking about it, even just watching that minute out of context is going to make me cry. Is when they're in the truck and she asks, oh, fuck. Okay, we're going to have a problem. So when she asks him, I believe she asks, I forget how she phrases it. Does she use the R word? Anyway, she asks about what's wrong with her. And he pulls the truck over to tell her that there's nothing wrong with her.
Simon?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm a retard?
Don't you ever talk like that. Ever. You are not a retard. You are a total punk rocker.
I am?
Yes. You are punk as fuck.
Can we listen to our song in here?
Fuck yeah. Pop that shit in the tape deck.
And it is sweet, and it is wholesome, and you can feel that inside this angry, broken exterior that is him, there is something sweet and wholesome, and he cares about the world. That's why he's angry about it. It's because the world is a fucked up place where people are assholes. I mean, look at the dinner where he starts the fire. The mother comes on to him when he's there with her daughter. That's fucked up. And as I said, the real world, never mind movies, never mind anything else. Donald Trump blew up a boat, a Venezuelan boat, last night with 11 people on it. They claimed it was drug dealers or something. Does that mean we get to blow it up? No, generally in international waters you detain and arrest and then you try to charge people with a crime. You try to provide that there's actual evidence for the thing you do, but no one does that in the world these days. Due process is a thing of the past. And that's how you get fucking people not only approving of, but cheering on what Israel is doing in Gaza, what Russia is doing in Ukraine, oh my god, I don't even remember all the other genocides and stupid wars that are happening right now that we either don't know anything about, or we know about and somehow cheer on as if it's a good thing that people are dying. And we have a lack of due process in this country for deporting people. And we have the National Guard being sent in to take over Washington, D.C., and now Chicago. And you know they're going to come back to L.A. I'm in L.A. They're going to come back to L.A. again soon, just like they did to support the deportations not that long ago. And the National Guard wasn't doing shit, but on the news, it was covered as if the military had to come into L.A. and had to do something. When for the reality in L.A., it was like a 1-block radius around the deportation center, And it never got that violent until the police, unfortunately the LAPD and ICE, made it that way. Just like any fucking protest turns violent generally because of the cops. I did a whole paper on the Chicago riot in '68 and how Congress decided it was the police that started the violence. And we need more of that. More congressional review that tells us what is actually wrong, except Congress is fucking up their jobs these days and letting Trump do whatever he wants to the Constitution, to the country, to the people of this place. And I like America generally, but I also fucking hate so much of it, and so many of the people on Twitter are horrible, horrible people who cheer on people being killed, people being deported, lives being ruined, and make jokes. And it pisses me the fuck off. So this show will be a venting space for that. I already pay too much attention to things going on a day-to-day basis with Trump and the executive office and the federal government and society and our breakdown and how we hate trans people and LGBTQIA+. I think there's more letters now again. Queer people we tend to hate, and we hate people that aren't white. I have benefited in my life from being a white male and being cis and mostly straight, and it's been very, I hate that it gives me privilege, but also that privilege has allowed me the opportunity to do a lot of things like watch so many movies and have a job that is relatively easy. I put easy in air quotes because it's not always easy, but when I'm in the semester, there are times where I don't have to think much about the class outside of class. If it's a week that students are doing speeches, I'm listening to the speeches during class time, and then I'm going home and forgetting class exists until I have to come back tomorrow. Right after I finished the Groundhog Day season, in my last episode, I was talking about the ideas for what's going to be next. What show, what thing am I going to work on? And this one wasn't in there. It was after I recorded that where I was like, or I could finally have an outlet for talking about politics and society and everything else on a regular basis, and I could cover Dinner in America. So this is that. Here's the thing where earlier I said we're going to have a fucking problem when I was talking about the scene in the truck. It's that this movie uses words I don't normally say in my life. Like calling this movie tits. I don't use the word. I don't use the R word, and I tend to block people on Twitter that do. I think there's one or two uses of the N-word in the movie. Because I'm covering this 1 minute at a time with no prep, I'm probably not going to read out whole lines of dialogue anyway, but I will note when things are said. And you would think as a sort of punk film, and covering a punk film and covering it in this dirty, raw way, I hope, that I'd be willing to say those things, but also you don't have to say horrible things to talk about horrible things. I will say some horrible things, but that's more judgment calls about how awful people are, not specific words that are inherently hurtful, inherently wrong for straight white male to say. And if you use the R word to insult people, fucking stop it. Do better in your fucking life. Don't use the N word to insult people. Don't make racial insults. Don't be a racist, bigoted asshole, generally. But definitely don't use words that the words itself are going to be off-putting to certain people all the time. You shouldn't try to be Simon. I mean, he ends up going to jail. That shouldn't be a goal. Your goal shouldn't be trying just to burn down the system and hate on every bit of it. Because, yeah, the system fucking sucks, and if we broke it down and burnt it to the ground, that'd be a good thing. But in the process, you don't want to kill all the people involved. I don't like the way the executive branch of our government is working right now, but that doesn't mean everyone working in that branch is a bad person. It might. They might be. I mean, they stuck around when Trump's in office again, and when he demands loyalty from all the people in it. If they haven't quit by now, maybe they're doing it because they're just holding on and they're trying to work from the inside to disrupt it, I hope. But maybe they're just so desperate because getting a new job, even in government, is probably not that easy right now. I know getting a new job outside of government is not that easy right now. And with AI coming, that's just going to get worse. And every corporation just trying to maximize profits means they're going to pick AI over you. They're going to pick a robot over you. They don't need you. They only want you as a customer. They have you as an employee because they haven't figured out how to avoid that just yet. They're working on it. Those are the things I'll talk about. Just like with my students, I'm going to tell them, if you use ChatGPT, you're getting a 0 on that assignment. I will not go for people using AI to write their papers in an education setting. You want to do that bullshit in your real life? Good luck to you, I guess, but also stop it. Yeah, I don't remember where we're going. Opening scene is that we start with Simon at the first dinner, right? Because they're the title of the movie. There are multiple dinners in this movie. That's not necessarily a literal thing, but dinner in America is this nice, wholesome idea of the family getting together at the dinner table, which does happen in the movie several times, several different families, and with different things breaking down those dinners and the way that people behave at those dinners and around those dinners. And it kind of works as a metaphor for American society itself, as we pretend we're this nice wholesome thing where you have the dream of the wife and 2.5 kids and the dog and the white picket fence and all that bullshit, and most of us can't ever have that. I grew up in the suburbs of LA. We had a white picket fence on one side of our house. It wasn't ours, it was actually our neighbor's. Ours was a wire fence, but we did have a fence. I did grow up in a house with a front yard and a backyard. Now I live in an apartment in a building that is falling apart, and so many people barely even have that. I care about what's wrong in the world, and I want to complain about it. I want to say horrible things. Was I excited by the idea that Trump was dead? Yes, because we would have been better off without him. That's a horrible thought, to be excited that someone is dead. And I understand also that his death wouldn't necessarily stop all the horrible things that are going on. But it might have helped. That's not to say that someone should go out and kill him, because an assassination, has it ever ended well? I don't think so. The Tsar of Russia, Lincoln, McKinley, Kennedy. I'm forgetting one. No, they shot Roosevelt, but he didn't die, right? It was an attempt. Someone also tried to kill Andrew Jackson, but failed. And someone tried to kill Reagan. Allegedly, someone tried to kill Trump, but, this isn't a conspiracy show, but it might come up. Everything about that man feels like a lie and something put upon. He is playing the part of successful businessman, and I don't know that he's ever been a successful businessman. Except in as much in that the real estate business especially, but a lot of business in America is just a put upon piece of capitalist nonsense, where we pretend that going into huge debts to build a new high-rise apartment building is a good thing. We pretend that having your name on a building in Manhattan is a good thing. We pretend that owning a bunch of golf courses is a good thing. We pretend like being able to threaten people and do that stupid aggressive handshake bullshit that Trump always does is a good thing. And I'm not sure Trump does anything that's good. At all. I'm not sure if he ever did. And I don't mean in an entertainingly bad way like Simon in this movie. Simon is entertaining, and Simon is, in his way, charming, and Simon, as I've already said, in his way is sweet. I could never imagine Trump being sweet to anyone. And I have so much difficulty understanding why people like him, why they listen to him and are excited about it. I get it, he says the shit that they want to say. He has horrible opinions like them. And it probably makes them feel like they belong. It makes it feel like it's okay to be who they are, but it's not okay to be who they are. Or you are. If you're a Trump supporter and you're listening to this, fuck you. But you can stick around. We'll have a good time. I hope. I don't necessarily think Trump is all that's wrong in America. He's just a culmination of it. America has always had problems. We killed the natives, we enslaved Africans, we didn't give women the vote till, what was that, the 1930s? Or whenever that amendment happened? Or after that? Fuck. Civil Rights Act wasn't until the 1960s? We're like, no, we freed the slaves in the 1860s. You can't blame that for your problems. Yes, we can, because we kept them all in poor neighborhoods, rural areas away from the city, and so they're not able to get ahead like everyone else. They don't get a leg up like someone like Trump, who grew up rich. He had a comment today where he talked about, he was doing this stupid lie about how he gave water to LA by turning on the faucets. Never mind, there's no fucking faucet, and the water that they did release is actually water we were going to need later this year for farmland in Central California, and now they're not going to have it when they need it. And if we have another fire, he didn't do anything that helps with that, and he's just going to make everything worse. But also today he was like, no, if they'd had the water, then the sprinklers in the houses would have put it out. He thinks every house has sprinklers in it because he's grown up in fucking penthouses. Because he lives in the White House and he has his apartment at Trump Tower in New York that, of course, has sprinklers in the ceiling because that's what you do in a big building like that. But regular houses don't have fucking sprinklers. Regular apartment buildings don't have fucking sprinklers. He doesn't understand what groceries are. He thinks that's an old word that no one uses. He thinks you show your license plate when you go to vote. So he doesn't, I don't know if he's ever had a driver's license. I assume he's got some sort of like ID because you need it. Maybe even got a driver's license, but he's never had to use it because he's a rich fucker who probably had a driver his whole life. That's not the kind of person that should be running a country. That's not the kind of person we should be looking up to. Anyway, that's enough for minute 1 where nothing fucking happens. Go watch Dinner in America again. Prepare for this show. I'll try to get this episode out soon because I want to talk about current events, and current events ain't worth talking to months after the fact. Well, they are, but it's different. Fuck.
Can't believe all that only took like 20 minutes.